Thank you very much. Good yourself.
Good to see my seniors, as
Good to
always.
see you too.
How's the Friday going?
Good. It's Friday. We thank God.
I see.
It's rolling nicely.
The rains this dawn. Did you feel it?
Good. If I started last night, actually.
Yeah.
Not bad.
You felt it?
Yeah.
I see. But you have not said much.
Yeah, there are days that perspectives and perceptions can vary.
Okay.
But when you made it into the day, you thank the Lord.
Okay.
That's why you get quiet sometimes.
Right.
For such a talkative like me.
Good to know. Graphic Business Established Bank Breakfast Meeting. I'm sure you know it's an annual event, an annual affair. Quarterly, I must say, quarterly. It pricks your mind on many different subjects. This year's theme is the media and marketing communication post-COVID, a catalyst for Africa's socio-economic resurgence. Why this theme? Beautiful theme, I must say, but why did you choose this one?
Thank you very much. I think that, like you rightly said, and even in your brief intro before this phase, you mentioned what TV3 is currently doing on educating our people on local governance structure and stuff like that. We believe that the media is in a better place to contribute a bit more to national development, national cohesion, and our role really is to inform, is to educate, is to drive advocacy, and redirect the thinking into things that are of value to us as a nation, as a people, as businesses, and all that. So, yes, COVID is a huge thing. It's hit almost every sector, almost every industry. Media, marketing, communications cannot be left out. So this platform is created to ensure that we also hear what is happening around that space and how we can help in the socioeconomic resurgence.
I see. Let's look at the panel for this conversation. Who are we empaneling to speak to these issues? Okay, Franklin.
Yeah, so usually when we have the major theme as we do, we go into sub-themes so we can get people to address specific perspectives within the major theme or the mother theme. And what we're saying is this: we have three sub-themes. The first one is changing landscape of the industry post-COVID.
Okay.
And the resource person will be Mr. George Chumesi, the head of ABN. Very solid resource around the space. Then the second sub-theme is disruption and new opportunities on the content area and how the continent can also take advantage of this. And this will be addressed by Mr. Stephen Boedi, another solid resource in the space. And then the last part will be the people factor.
The people
factor, media and social cohesion and personal fulfillment.
Okay.
Because we have a role to play to bring all this together. And this will be handled by Professor Kwame Karikari.
Okay.
I mean, you know the value he brings to the space. Absolutely. And of course, I mean, Executive Director of Media Foundation for West Africa. Right. Our nation has a role to play in the continent as far as media, marketing, communications is concerned, and the resurgence you are looking at, we believe Ghana is in the right place to lead that cause as well.
Who are we targeting for this?
I mean, the broader target should be the society, the larger society. The media is a key partner in that one. And then, of course, industry. But as you said, who? And the who will be answered when we look at the why. About 15 years or so back, there was a headline on one of these international publications, and it said, Africa Rising. It projected this euphoria about the good things that this continent can bring to the fore in global trade and everything. And you realize around that time, you had a lot of foreign direct investment into the continent. Things were happening then. COVID hit. It hit the whole world, hit Africa even more. And then you have a situation where any society that gets to have its things running, you need to have the right image.
Right.
It has to be both sides, positive, negative. But who best to tell the story? It's actually framed by the marketing and communications industry. Okay. And somewhere in there is a media that will carry or be the channel.
Right.
I mean, that's what you do here.
Right.
And that's being fed content-wise by what the marketing and communications industry are doing. So when our partners approached us, then we've been discussing quite a number of things over the years that have been quite of great concern to the nation. This time we decided, as always, that hey, this is the time to push it. I come from a bank that believes we are part of Ghana. We must help with the growth of Ghana. Our promise is to see how we can look at things differently and how dreams can be made possible.
Right.
The African dream must still be on. The African dream can be reshaped. Our narrative can be repeated for even those who don't seem to get it. But in doing all that, there are people working in the industry.
Right.
How do they come
Right.
to the fore? How do we get this sector to help push that narrative and get our economies, Ghana, Africa, booming once again?
Frankly, Graphic Communications Group Limited is a mother, I mean, in terms of media practice on the African continent. Is it the view of Graphic Communications Group Limited that perhaps the media has laid back a bit in the knots that have to be tied such that Africa can then be the force to reckon with in terms of socio-economic development? Is that a view?
I wouldn't say that's the view, but it may not be far from the general perception, because I think that as media, we haven't taken a rightful position in the national development agenda. There is more we can do to bring or create such platforms where people will have the opportunity to share their thoughts, not just people, but experts and players, industry players come together, share their thoughts on issues. For instance, if we are all complaining about something, like Kojo mentioned, media is the space to bring the complaints together and lead in providing a certain kind of solution. Because you can get those who are responsible to come and talk. You can get those who are accountable to come and talk. You can get those who should be informed to be there. You can get those who must offer support. You can get those who should, in one way or the other, be consulted. So if we can bring all these players together in one space, why are we not leading to provide solutions, create platforms that we can have thought-provoking content,
Right.
and pick the content up and hold people responsible to do what they have to do. So clearly, if media in this nation start doing what we really need to do rather than complain and complain and complain, which I believe is getting a lot of people to also switch off from a lot of our media channels, because you listen and you get frustrated, you get tired.
Right.
Meanwhile, there's a positive way we can drive the agenda to bring value to the nation. And I think that Graphic Communications Group, that is what we stand for. And our partners like TV3 and few others, we believe can really contribute to the agenda.
See, Kojo, I'm trying to marry the two, even though I know both are in the social sciences department, media and marketing, the symbiosis. This is just one step, but how tight do you want to see that symbiosis happen if we must achieve at all?
Maybe I'll answer with an example.
Okay.
I was looking for, the great African leader, Osachukwu.
That's right.
I tried to find anything he may have said along these lines, and I came across a speech he made at the launch of GNA, 1965. And somewhere in there, so I can't exactly quote, but I'll paraphrase. He said, through the media or journalists and their people get to know what ought to be read or heard. And in the same way, people will get to know about what we are doing or saying in this part of the world and what others are doing.
Okay.
I think what he's trying to say is that it is a channel that allows people to get to know about themselves and the other places. It is the same channel that allows you or directs you towards good practices, things that are bad that we got to frame. But remember I said earlier, the media will be the channel.
Okay.
The framing and capturing of images, the storyline, all those other things that have got to be done will be done by the marketing communications unit. They work. It's a symbiotic relationship, like I said, the egg and the chicken thing, right? They're very, very related. You can't have the egg without the chicken. You can't have the chicken without the egg. I guess you recall some years ago on TV, the story around doing what is right.
That's right.
And the one about a certain product, it's not safe to mention, but that was pushing the need to wash hands.
Right.
See, you would have watched it on TV. So you saw it on the media space or in the media space. But how was it framed? For people to understand that that is the good way, or it's a bad way to go to the small room and not wash your hands.
Right.
I think it's the same thing we try to do. Where if you look at the broader space of the media or the marketing and communication issues, they are all affected by the challenges of COVID. They also would play a part in getting our economies to come back on their feet. Okay. What would be wonderful and great is to see the new ways that we can do this. Like I said, we want to see how we can bring out the new ways of what making dreams possible. Because those dreams,
but then at the bottom of it is the political will. Because whatever we talk about, whatever we formulate, whatever we envisage, think about, and wish for Africa, there is a leadership on the continent of Africa at various stages that must make it work. How do we draw them into it finally?
In fact, the guest speaker for the event is actually the Minister for Communications,
right.
Honorable Kojo Pongo.
Information.
Yes, information. There is no way you can have a society without politics. There will be many kinds, there will be many types, but whichever society you find yourself in and whichever kind of political structure you have, it's because of what evolved there. Just the same way as when you live in a certain areas, there are food items you come across. But every society will have politics.
Right.
If you don't have buy-in, if you don't have stakeholder ownership, which is what the political leadership normally would offer, it's dead on arrival. Like I said, in constitution, we have some time.
I see.
Back in time.
I see. Franklin, where are we having this party? Date, time, venue, and who can attend?
So this is happening next Tuesday, 24th of August
24th.
at Labadi Beach Hotel.
Okay.
We have all set because of COVID protocols and all that. So there are restrictions on numbers. We've sent invitation out to a number of strategic people who add to the discourse. AG is integral today, CIMG, Media Commission, all the relevant players have been invited,
Right.
and we are trusting that the discourse will be good whilst we look at rebuilding, reshaping, resetting, and redirecting. And like the symbiotic relationship, it's about how we are packaging what we have and share with the people.
Let's look at the social media handles and then we will say bye to you. Stambik, how do we
Yes.
connect?
All our social media handles, www.stambikbank.com.
Okay.
I mean, Instagram, Facebook, all like would be it will be available on our platforms, and I think it's the same with graphic communication.
Right. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Kujolabi. He is the boss in charge of communications at Stambik Bank. He likes to be called the chief servant, but we see him as the boss. And also Mr. Franklin Sowa is the director of marketing and communication and sales, also at Graphic Communications.
So it's Daily Graphic Ghana,
Okay.
and then Stambik Bank Ghana.
Right.
Live
Okay.
on Facebook.
Everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere we did that.